AI email customization, the next level of outreach. Personalization isn't a nice to have anymore. If your outbound still relies on classic mail merges, you're competing with one hand tied behind your back. Prospects are flooded with "hi first name" messages that don't reflect their reality, and they're faster than ever to ignore anything that feels generic. The standard for relevance has shifted from some personalization to "this was written for me." That shift isn't limited to B2C experiences like streaming and e-commerce. It's shaping how decision-makers judge B2B outreach, too. McKinsey reports that 71% of customers expect personalized interactions, and 76% get frustrated when they don't receive them. In practice, that means your first email has to earn attention by sounding informed, not automated. Generative AI has made that level of relevance achievable at scale. With the right data and guardrails, AI email customization turns outbound from spray and pray into research-backed conversations, while SDRs spend more time talking to prospects and less time rewriting openers. This is the next level of outreach for modern teams and for any sales development agency that needs both volume and quality. What AI email customization actually means. Traditional personalization swaps static fields, name, company, maybe industry, into the same script. AI email customization goes further by using models to research a prospect and rewrite parts of your email so the content reflects real context, role responsibilities, company initiatives, trigger events, and credible next steps. Instead of personalization being a token, it becomes the hook that makes your message feel worth replying to. The best approach is layered, not random. We typically think in terms of segment context, like industry and size, persona context, role and seniority, trigger context, funding, hiring, product launches, and true one-to-one insights, public content they intentionally published. Marketing automation can handle the first two layers, but AI shines when you want trigger and insight-level relevance without forcing reps to do hours of manual research. In an SDR motion, AI customization belongs inside a framework you control, not as a free-form "write me an email" button. You standardize your value proposition, proof points, and CTA so you can measure performance, then allow AI to tailor the subject line and opening lines to each account. That's how a cold email agency can scale personalization without sacrificing consistency or testing discipline. Why personalized outbound moves the needle. Relevance improves performance in ways that compound throughout the funnel. Campaign Monitor cites that personalized subject lines can lift opens by about 26%, which matters because opens create the opportunity for a reply. More importantly, personalization impacts downstream outcomes when it's tied to segmentation and intent rather than surface-level tokens. Campaign Monitor also reports that personalized emails can drive up to 6 times higher transaction rates, and that segmented, targeted campaigns have been associated with up to a 760% increase in email revenue versus one-size-fits-all blasts. Even if your SDR goal is meetings rather than e-commerce revenue, the implication holds. Better matched messages produce better conversion economics. Adoption is already mainstream in enterprise environments, which means your prospects increasingly expect this level of targeting. Research covered by Marketing Dive found 57% of marketers at companies with 500-plus employees are using AI in email campaigns, and Marketing Profs reported 99% of enterprise marketers using AI for email saw positive results. If you're running an outbound sales agency motion or building one internally, AI-driven customization is quickly becoming table stakes. How to implement AI customization without breaking your workflow. Start with the inputs, because AI won't rescue a bad list. Tighten your ICP bands, define buying roles, and identify trigger events that signal urgency. Then, make sure your CRM fields are clean and consistent. When firmographics, titles, and account data are wrong, AI personalization misfires, wastes sends, and can even harm deliverability. Next, design a modular email template that separates what should change from what must remain fixed. Let AI customize the subject line, opener, and one short insight, but keep the core problem statement, proof points, and CTA consistent so you can run real A/B tests. This personalize the hook, standardize the spine approach protects your narrative while still making each email feel handwritten. Finally, treat the model like a junior SDR you coach. Give it examples of good and bad messages, add rules around tone and claims, and require quick human review early in rollout before you scale volume. At SalesHive, we use our eMod engine to auto-research public prospect data and rewrite approved templates, and we've seen it deliver roughly 3x higher response rates than templated outbound when teams keep those guardrails in place. AI should earn you more conversations by making every email more relevant, not by letting you send more noise. Best practices: human plus AI beats either one alone. The winning playbook is collaboration. Humans define positioning, voice, and constraints, while AI handles research, first-line customization, and controlled variation. This is especially important if you manage an outsourced sales team or multiple SDRs across regions, because AI can help every rep sound like your best rep on their best day. Your job is to keep the system aligned with what you want the market to remember about you. We recommend launching with 2 or 3 outbound use cases where the ROI is most obvious, such as mid-market net new, enterprise ABM, or winbacks. Rank them by volume and deal size so you roll out where personalization creates the biggest lift first. This approach works whether you run in-house SDRs or partner with a B2B sales agency for sales outsourcing. AI customization also works best when it's coordinated across channels. The same account insights used to write a tailored opener can power custom talk tracks for cold calling services, voicemail drops, and LinkedIn outreach services, so the prospect experiences one coherent story. When email warms the account and calling follows with consistent context, your why you, why now lands with more credibility. Common pitfalls and how to avoid them. The fastest way to ruin AI personalization is to let it generate fully custom emails with little oversight. That's how teams end up with off-brand messaging, overconfident claims, or details that are simply incorrect, all of which reduce replies and can damage sender reputation. The fix is straightforward. Lock down the narrative, constrain what can be rewritten, and schedule periodic QA so prompt drift doesn't creep in. The second mistake is creepy personalization. If an email references overly personal details or obscure information, prospects don't feel impressed, they feel watched, and that's when they hit spam instead of reply. Keep personalization grounded in professional, public signals like company announcements, role scope, hiring trends, funding, tech stack, or content they published for business audiences. A third trap is optimizing for vanity metrics. AI can spike opens with clever subject lines, but that doesn't guarantee positive replies or meetings. Misleading curiosity bait can actually reduce trust. Anchor optimization in outcomes that matter, positive reply rate, meetings booked, and pipeline created, so your AI program improves revenue, not just engagement. What to measure and how to prove ROI. To validate AI email customization, split results by AI versus non-AI sends and measure the same funnel you already care about. Open and reply rates are useful diagnostics, but for sales development, they're not the goal. They're inputs. The real win is more qualified conversations and more meetings per unit of effort. McKinsey estimates generative AI can increase sales productivity by roughly 3 to 5% of global sales expenditures, largely through better targeting, follow-up, and personalization. But execution matters. An MIT analysis, as reported publicly, found about 95% of enterprise Gen AI pilots fail to show measurable P&L impact when they're not integrated into real workflows. That's why measurement needs to connect activity to outcomes, not just surface-level engagement. A practical way to stay honest is to standardize a small set of metrics, review them weekly, and treat each prompt or template change like a controlled experiment. If you're working with an outbound sales agency, make sure these definitions are shared across both teams so you're not debating what good performance means. Here's a simple measurement framework we recommend using from day one. Where this is going and what to do next. AI customization is moving from experiment to default operating model. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 60% of B2B seller work will be executed through generative AI technologies, and that roughly 30% of outbound messages from large organizations will be synthetically generated. The takeaway isn't that humans are obsolete. It's that teams with strong workflows will scale quality faster than teams relying on manual effort. Your next step should be simple and operational. Pick one motion, build a modular template, define guardrails, and run a clean A/B test against your current best performer. Assign ownership, typically RevOps or sales leadership, for prompt updates and QA, and bake experimentation into a monthly rhythm so the system keeps improving. This avoids the one-time launch problem, where results fade because nobody maintains the playbook. If you want the benefits without building everything in-house, partnering can accelerate the timeline. As a sales development agency and cold email agency, we combine data, AI personalization, testing, and execution across email and cold calling services so campaigns improve continuously rather than stagnate. If you're evaluating SalesHive pricing or looking through SalesHive reviews, the right question to ask is whether your vendor can connect AI personalization to meetings and pipeline, not just prettier emails.